Figure out what they are. Think about them. These are things that refresh you. They renew your body, mind, and spirit. And they're always good things. Spending time alone with your spouse. Taking the kids to the park. Reading a good book. Listening to music. Taking a walk. All kinds of things like that. They're all good for you. They're things you enjoy. They strengthen you. They refresh you. They satisfy you. And it's those green pastures that God wants to lead you to. Every day you should be able to say something along these lines. Okay, today may not have been the best day. I had a lot of problems. But there were these little times where I felt a little bit better. Little thoughts came into mind. Little places I knew I could go or found myself in. And they worked. In spite of all the stress, God did lead me beside some still waters. I just mentioned some of those good things to be considered green pastures. But do you know what the greenest pasture really is? Being in the presence of the shepherd. Spend time with God. Spend time in the Bible with Him, in prayer, in worship, in meditation. If you're not doing these things on a regular basis, you're going to be missing a lot of the peace that can be in your daily life. Some of you know it. Some of you know the comparison between the day when you spent a little time reading the Bible, saying a prayer, compared to that day where you rushed off and didn't have time for that. You know. So give some thought to this idea of identifying green pastures, still waters, what they represent in your life, how God uses them to renew your body, mind, and soul, and your emotions, everything about you. Write them down. Identify them. And then the third thing goes right comes right out of the second thing. It's the action part of it. And that's go ahead and follow God every day to those places. Follow Him to those activities, to those things that are your green pastures, your still waters. If God is leading you, then He is leading you into these places. We've established this. God has established it with Psalm 23. He says to us through this psalm, through David's writing, that He leads us into quiet, still waters, green pastures. It's not to say that we don't pass through difficult days. We do. But even during the most challenging seasons of life, we can count on moments of tranquility. Here's the real problem. We tend to put the best experiences of our life on the back burner, especially when we're really busy. You know how it goes. Man, I really like spending time with my family, but I can't right now. I'll do that someday. Or, I really like sitting down and reading the Bible, but I just don't have time. I'll do it another time. We say, I really need to rest. I really need to go to bed tonight a little earlier. I need a good night's sleep. But we don't. We stay up and try to do a little more work. And then we make it worse. We're having a bad day and we say, doesn't God realize? This day is so bad. Everything's coming my way. Doesn't God realize how much I need Him now? Yes, He does. That's why Jesus said this, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest. And that's a big word, rest. It's a big, huge word. It's not just a little shut-eye. It's peace, tranquility, all the things you're longing for. No matter what else is going on in your life, He can lead you into pastures and quiet streams if you'll follow Him there. You've identified your pasture, so go ahead where He's leading you to. Be willing to go with Him. Well, you remember last week's homework. We were supposed to memorize verse 1 And then I wanted you to write down 3 material things that you were thankful for and 3 spiritual blessings that you were thankful for. And then write your needs down, things that you felt you needed, and go to God in prayer with those things. And the goal of that was to make sure that you see that the shepherd watches after you and provides for you. Now, this week's homework is still simple. Just take you a couple minutes a day to do. Do this when you wake up, right before you go to sleep. And Psalm 23 will start to permeate your soul. First thing, memorize verse 2. Say it along with verse 1. Say it when you get up, when you go to sleep, every time you think of it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Just say it over and over again. Second thing, on that same paper or device that you use to write down the things from last week, identify your green pastures and your still waters. Figure out what they are and write them down. Then, third thing, ask God to lead you there and follow Him. You know, maybe you can wake up and realize, hey, you know what? I don't have a lunch appointment today. Maybe I'll go to the park instead of a restaurant, sit down, read a couple of Bible verses, enjoy the outdoors, and have my lunch there. Then fourth, when you go to bed at night, think about the green pastures that God led you to. Thank Him for those things. And then allow yourself to sleep. Yes, allow yourself to sleep. Allow yourself to relax. And remember that God wants to give you sweet sleep. David wrote another psalm that said, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. We aren't by nature peaceful creatures. We're prone to stress and anxiety and tension and friction and obsessing over every little problem. But those who know the Good Shepherd can experience life in a different way. It's not that we don't face the trials, it's that even in their midst, we can experience God's peace. Each day, He can lead us to quiet places, places of rest, places where we'll be satisfied, and places where we can sleep securely. The shepherd is always near, and you are always in His care.